and honesty to grow and live in just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. May we please be seated. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
You're welcome to the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, maiden edition of the presentation of National Tertiary Admissions Performance Merit Award 2018, taking place live at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja, on the network service of the NTA. I am Olayinka Ojo.
Chairman of Councils, Vice Chancellors, Provosts, and Rectors, registrars of awarding institutions, of winning institutions here present, members of the media, my directors, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to introduce to you the presenter of today's award, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, SAN, GCON, ably represented by Mrs. Marian Lawal OS. Okay. By the Vice President right-hand side is the Honorable Minister of Education, in person of Malang Ademo Ademo. We have the Minister of State Education, in person of Professor Anthony Aoka. Sir, you're welcome. We have the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Education, in person of Architect Sonny Echonos. Sir, you're welcome. We have the Chairman of the Joint Admission Board, Governing Board, in person of Dr. Emmanuel Ndukwe. We have the Registrar of JAMB by his right-hand side, in person of Professor Isaac Oloide. We have the Executive Secretary, National University Commission, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid, ably represented by Dr. Chris J. Meyaki, Directorate of the Executive Secretary's Office. Sir, you are welcome. We have the Registrar of Teachers Registration Council, in person of Professor Josiah Olusegun Ajiboye. Sir, you are welcome. We have the Registrar of NAPTEP, in person of Professor Ifeoma Messi Asiogo Abani here. We have the HNO of WAEC, in person of Mr. Olu Adenebeku. We also have the representative, that's our host, the representative of the administrator of this great institute, in person of, sorry, I missed that name. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The Vice President Ma, we also have in attendance a former Minister of Education, a one-time ambassador of Nigeria to Germany, a man who today can attest that yes, we are moving to the next level. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have Professor Tunde Adini right here with us. Sir, you're welcome. Sir, you can come to the high table. We have, please can you give him a round of applause as he moves to the high table?
In over 4 decades of its existence, the board has carried out its mandate and performed its function to the best of its capacity, responding adequately to emerging challenges and embracing best practices as required of any dynamic organization in an ever-changing world which has become a global village. In the area of admission, which is the ultimate zenith of a process that usually begins with application exercise leading to conduct of examination to selection of suitable and qualified candidates. The introduction of the Central Processing System CAPS in 2017 by the board led to the automation of the admission processes devoid of any human interaction influence, aimed at ensuring that candidates that genuinely prepare and excel in their matriculation examination and in other qualifying examinations are suitably placed in tertiary institutions, taking into consideration their choices and dependency on the available vacancies without any form of discrimination.
We also have board members of the board here. Please, can you stand up for recognition? Led by the chairman of the board. I also understand that Dr. Ruben Abati, former media head to the former president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, is also here with us. Dr. Ruben Abati, can you stand up for recognition? A defeated gubernatorial deputy governorship candidate. Thank you. I know he's going to try again next time, and by the grace of God, he will make it. At this point, I want to invite the chairman of the JAMB governing board, the man that has stood behind the registrar of the board, a very strong pillar of support. He has ensured that the good name that we are known for today is being achieved. He has been a very wonderful supporter of the change mantra in the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. Permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to invite Dr. Emmanuel A. Ndukwe for the address of welcome. The chairman, sir.
Good afternoon, all. On behalf of the Management Board of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, I welcome everybody that is present here with us today. Permit me to abridge the protocol. Dr. Fabian Benjamin has already done justice to that, even though not everybody that is worthy of being mentioned here has been mentioned, because I believe that everybody sitting here deserves a mention in the protocol. So, should I say protocols observed? When my colleagues and I were inaugurated as members of the 10th Governing Board of this board about a year ago, we were optimistic and incredibly positive that our jobs as the decision-making body for the 40-years-old institution called JAMB had been perfectly cut out, for the reasons of the remarkable achievement of its management. Professor Ishak Alao Oloede. Our optimism has indeed been proven right by subsequent developments. It is not longer news that within 3 years of prudent management, JAMB has successfully relaunched itself into the consciousness of Nigerians as probably the most proactive and well-run government agency at this time. It is therefore my greatest honor as I welcome you all once again to this special maiden event tagged Admissions Performance Merit Awards Ceremony, the first of its kind. 5 of the nation's tertiary institutions for their record-breaking feats in admission in the year under review. As I know it, this is novel, unprecedented, and quite distinctive, with the potential of being a catalyst for healthy competition and accelerated development in tertiary education in the country. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Merit Award for excellent performance of institutions in the admission exercise was carefully thought out by the management of JAMB in 2016, year 2016. But made public to the admiration and total buy-in of stakeholders gathered for the 2017 policy meeting at the National Judicial Institute in Abuja here, where it was enthusiastically and unanimously adopted for implementation, effective from the 2018 admission exercise. So, when the proposal for 4 categories of award was initially presented by the management to the governing board for ratification, our members not only commended the registrar and his team for the corporate strategic innovative idea, but equally demonstrated our total support and commitment to the initiative by adding the 5th category, best in compliance with the policy guideline, and approved the sum of 25 million each for the 5 category of the awards. I therefore congratulate today the winners. And the winners will soon be unveiled, while I encourage other institutions to remain gallant, go back to the drawing board, and do your utmost to win in the next edition. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, also to inform this August gathering that after 3 cycles of the yearly Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, and 2 cycles of admission exercises, current management of JAMB has successfully discharged its responsibilities with integrity and nobility. You will recall that recently JAMB released the results of this year's tertiary examination, matriculation exams. Despite all the pressure on our chief executive, the registrar, he insisted that everything will be done properly to protect the integrity of the exams conducted by JAMB. And it took a bit longer, but we are proud to say that the results that we finally released will pass the test anywhere in the world. And I thank my registrar for that, and also the Honorable Minister, who has his eye at perfection at every step that the board takes. The fact that the board has since 2016 consistently been remitting money to the federal government's consolidated purse in line with Section 22B of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 is a testimony to the fact of its exceptional transformation. It is, however, not only in the conduct of examination and admission to tertiary institutions that JAMB has excelled. In fact, JAMB's involvement in corporate social responsibility is becoming legendary. I recall the board's invitation to other public agencies, including national and regional examination bodies, as well as few other public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education to inspect its stores and pick some items which were no longer useful to us as a board as a result of newer technologies that have been introduced. Fortunately, almost all the items were found useful and were taken away by the invited institutions for their own use. The professionalization of the test development department, which was conceived to improve test item generation capacity of the staff, led to the adoption of 3 secondary schools within Buhari, where our head office is located, where staff are involved in part-time teaching to earn their teaching skills. Also, to make the environment conducive to both students and teachers, the board is expending 60 million naira to renovate and furnish the adopted schools. The schools are Nomadic Primary School, Tudun Fulani, Junior Secondary School, Guto, and Government Secondary School, all in Buhari. Other areas of involvement by the board included its involvement in the funding of projects and programs of many tertiary institutions, among others. In the area of sports development, JAMB for 2 years running has expended 55 million naira on JAMB tertiary institution football competition. In conclusion, I sincerely, on behalf of the board, most especially welcome the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibanjoji, CON, for taking time out of his loaded schedule to present the awards to the winner institutions. Of course, our Vice President is present here with us, ably represented by Mrs. Lawal Uwais. Vice President, you are welcome. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to this memorable event, as I wish us all a wonderful ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the chairman of the board. Please, we give him a befitting round of applause. He was a one-time snake charmer, but he's no longer a snake charmer. We have moved to another level. At this point, I want to introduce a man that is known by all, a man that has made what we are celebrating today possible. Because without his type, I'm not sure who would have been here. My few days or years that I've interacted or been in JAMB, I've come to discover that with integrity, everything can be achieved. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President, Your Excellency Ma, permit me to welcome the Honorable Minister of Education, Malang Adama Adamo, for his remarks. The Minister, sir.
Mrs. Mariam Weiss, Madam Vice President, welcome. Professor Tunde Adeniran, former Minister of Education. Professor Tony Anwuka, Minister of State Education. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you here to this event today. But before I read my address, I think I have to say that I'm a little bit unhappy because I had prepared an anecdote which I wanted to say in the presence of the Vice President because it is for him. And I know this is probably the last official, formal function where he and I will be present. But probably I will still say it so that you relate it to him. Your Excellency, Madam Vice President, please permit me on behalf of the education sector in general and the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board in particular to thank you especially for the honor of accepting to be here today in spite of your schedule. Though I have known and appreciated your penchant for educational assignments, I'm not unaware of the numerous calls to duty that Your Excellency have had to handle. And I understand it is one of these calls to duties that took him away to Imo this morning. I recall that the idea of this merit award was announced in this auditorium in 2017 at the policy meeting on admissions to tertiary institutions in Nigeria, which I presided over as chairman. I'm happy that the idea has come to light. I would like to congratulate JAMB for this noble idea of plowing back resources into the education sector in such rewarding and encouraging ways, which I believe will benefit the entire system. I personally cherish the idea of this healthy competition among tertiary institutions, and especially for the prizes attached to them. In addition to the budget provision of the tertiary institutions and the various interventions from local, international, and private sources also add value to the development efforts on our campuses. I also appreciate the idea that the categories of awards are not discriminatory against any category of institutions, whether university, polytechnic, college of education, whether it is federal or state or privately owned. While I agree with proponents of strong institutions and automation of systems to drive our efforts for development as obtained in some developed countries of the world, I'm convinced that the personal commitment, transparent leadership, positive use of discretion, responsive and responsible followership have also played major roles in the outcome of the competitions that has produced winners of the awards today. I therefore urge those aspiring to the offices of vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts of the nation's tertiary institutions not only to show interest and desire leadership positions for mundane and ephemeral issues, but to take such positions with the principal aim of performance while in office, in a way that will sustain a legacy of achievements built on strong foundation on which succeeding leadership will improve. I also urge other government parastatals, not only in the education sector, but across all spheres of government, to support the nation's treasury institutions with similar intervention and incentives aimed at improving the system, just like JAMB has done, and I hope will continue to do. I congratulate all tertiary institutions for their sustenance of peace on campuses and for the abiding faith in the leadership of this country. I assure Nigerians that the confidence reposed in the leadership of Muhammad Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo through their re-election for a second term will provide the duo and their team another opportunity to consolidate on achievements recorded in the first term. In addition, I think I would like to say I hope we'll be able to harness whatever it is the two are going to do this second term, because this nation will not find another opportunity where it will be led by somebody who is absolutely honest in his discharge of duties as president, somebody to whom probity is a second name. And it will not be, there may not be another time when the second person in Nigeria will be a man of God, a true man of God, very, very humble. I would like to congratulate all the winners and urge them to keep up their performance, while also encouraging those who have not won in this maiden edition to rise to the challenge in order to have new faces on the podium next time. The remittance of billions of naira annually to the national treasury by JAMB has made it possible to actualize and sustain this award. I therefore express my unreserved congratulations to JAMB and to Dr. Emmanuel Ndukwe. Last time I knew him, I know him as Snake Charmer. But you know, his own staff just said he was a former snake charmer. What has happened? You no longer catch snakes? Oh, okay, I understand. I think snakes no longer eat money now. Okay. And I would like also to congratulate Professor Ishaq Oloyede. You know, even before he did the feat that he did, if Mr. President had given me the power to resign and give the ministership to someone, I would have done it to Oloyede. You only know about his probity. Probably his competence is even multiples of this. I would also like to congratulate the registrar and the entire workforce and all those who have helped the board in achieving what it did achieve. The thoughtful idea of this award is another creativity. I urge the team to keep up with this wonderful program and possibly introduce more interventions with the renewed, rewarding, and symbiotic relationship that now exists between the board and tertiary institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, before I thank you and sit down, I would like to summarize the anecdote. It's a very long story that I intend. Actually, let me start. During the campaign in 2015, I think there was something in the press that made so many people, especially Christians, apprehensive. And the vice president at that time, vice presidential candidate, came with a paper on which he had written something, which he showed to the presidential candidate, President Muhammad Buhari. He read and then he said he should see me and the two of us will finish it. He gave it to me and I did what I was ordered. But at that time, I told him that there are many things that across the religious divide people needed to know. But we were so busy, we didn't come to talk about that. One day I was in his office, we remembered my promise, and I started telling him. But something happened, I had to cut it short. But now, since there is nobody to cut me short, I think I will tell you a summary. I said, sir, there is a lot of ignorance on both sides. You wouldn't know that in Islam, we have a view of Jesus Christ, alayhi salam, that a Christian will not believe. So I said, let me tell him one such incident concerning Jesus from the Islamic tradition. He said, okay. I said, one morning, Jesus, alayhi salam, called a person to accompany him on a journey to a nearby town. As they were sitting out, Jesus, alayhi salam, brought a package. In the package, there were 3 loaves of bread. And he said to the man, please hold this. We might need it on the way. And they set out. By the time the sun was up, they had started feeling hungry. So Jesus, alayhi salam, said, let's have breakfast. So they sat down under a tree to eat. When they opened the package, there were only 2 loaves. But Jesus, alayhi salam, had put 3 there. So he said, what happened to the other loaf? The man said, Master, I don't know. He said, since I gave you this package, we have been together and nobody has joined us. So what happened? He said, I do not know, sir. He said, okay, nevertheless, there are only 2 of us. Take one, I will take the other. And they ate the loaves. Just as they were finishing, an antelope came out of the bush. And Jesus, alayhi salam, said, antelope, come here. And the antelope just came to Jesus. Jesus held it, slaughtered it, and they cut the meat and roasted it, and they ate. After eating, Jesus, alayhi salam, collected the bones and the skin in one place, and he hit the mass. He said, rise in the name of the Lord. And that antelope rose and ran into the bush. And Jesus, alayhi salam, looked at that man and he said, by the power of this miracle, can you tell me who took that loaf of bread? He said, Master, I do not know. He said, okay, let's go. So they continued on their way. As they were going, they came to a river. Unfortunately, the night before there had been rain and it was flooded. So there was no way they could go ahead. But Jesus held the hand of the man. He held his hand and he said, have no fear. And he led him across the river. And the other one, he said, by the power of this miracle, can you please tell me who took that loaf of bread? The man said, Master, I don't know. He said, okay, let's continue. They continued. Then, when they were near, they could see the town, their destination. Then there was a mountain pass, and there were many rocks. And Jesus hit the rock, and he said, in the name of the Lord, turn into gold. And the rocks turned into gold. He said, by the power of this miracle, will you tell me who ate that loaf of bread? He said, Master, I don't know. So he said, he took the rock that had turned into gold and broke it into 3. He said, this big piece is your own. This medium one is mine. And this other one belongs to that person who ate that loaf of bread. Then the man said, Master, I ate it. Yes. So Jesus, alayhi salam, said, and so be it. I have spoken. Whoever it was that ate this will have this. Take it. So he gave it to him. Then he said, I have no need for this one. Take it too. So he gave him all the three. But he said, you are not qualified for my companionship. It ends here. And he said, okay, okay. He was very happy. I mean, he was very happy to have gold. He did not see the spiritual loss by losing Jesus. And Jesus, alayhi salam, continued alone. Not long after he had left that man, armed robbers arrived. So as they are going, they said, this is gold. So let's kill the man. He said, please don't kill me. Let's share it. So Jesus had not gone a kilometer. The man had already lost what he thought he had. And there were 3 robbers. So they broke it into 4. He took one. Each one of them took the quarter. So they said, we have no need to go into this town because we were hungry, we wanted to eat. So they sent the youngest of them to go and get food for them. And they were waiting for him. After the youngest had gone, the other robbers said, we are robbers. We don't know how to share. Why should we share with this man? Let's just kill him and take his share. So they killed that man who was before. He had the lofty station of being a companion to Jesus alayhi salam. They killed him and took his share. And then they said, so why do we have to share with the boy? So they decided that they were going to kill him immediately he arrived. And that's what they did. When he came, they killed him and took his own share also. But the boy had also thought like this, why should he share with them? So he had put poison in the breakfast. And immediately they killed him, they ate, and they all died. In the evening, Jesus alayhi salam, on his way back, he saw the pile of gold and the corpses of these people. And he said, so it is with the world. If materialism is your goal, this is your end. Thank you very much.
Please, he deserves much more than that. Thank you, the Honorable Minister. Today I know the meaning of the Malam attached to your name. It has been a research topic, but today I've gotten the answer. Once again, please, may we give him a resounding round of applause. While the minister was giving his remarks, the Emir of Karshi, who doubles as the chairman, Governing Council, Nasarawa State Polytechnic, Alhaji Mohammed Sani Bako, the third. Your Royal Highness, sir, you're welcome. At this point, I want to invite the man at the center of affairs, the Registrar of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, in person of Professor Isaac Larewaju Oloide, for a brief on the award.
Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by Mrs. Mariam Lawal Uwais, the Honorable Minister of Education, the Honorable Minister of State for Education, the former Minister of Education, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, the Chairman of Joint Admission and Matriculation Board and distinguished members of the board, heads of parastatals, particularly in the Ministry of Education, directors of the Federal Ministry of Education, pro-chancellors, chairmen of council, vice-chancellors, provosts, rectors, directors of JAMB, the president of NUJ, and other distinguished men of the pen here. I don't want to join my minister in giving reasons to life, but I must also recognize the presence of a former failed deputy governor candidate. And I will tell you the reason. I was once in Australia on the invitation of the World Council of Churches. And I went with the then Secretary General of the Baptist Convention. I've forgotten the name now. It's a doctor, he's from Ogbomoso. But he was also a presidential candidate in the Babangida presidential thing, you know, when there were so many presidential candidates across the country. So the Secretary General of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, Dr. something, I've forgotten the name now, it's from Ogbomoso. No, not Obaje. No, not Ola Akonde. Yes, that's the name. So we went to Australia, and yes, we were giving attention. But one day I was just joking with him, and I said, look at these people. They didn't realize that you are a presidential candidate in Nigeria. Then the protocol man said, was he? We said, yes. Everything changed from then on. They brought him a car, gave him 4-bedroom instead of the 1 room. They said, presidential candidate in Nigeria. You didn't disclose. A whole Nigeria, somebody having contested. I said, he's one of the candidates. I said, yes, contesting to become president of Nigeria. So when we locked the door, I said, look, I left my hotel and I went to his house. I said, look, you must give me one of the rooms here. Because I made this happen. And everything turned. They brought security, and I told him that I'm a special aide to the presidential candidate. So it's very important. You might think that somebody being a failed deputy governor may not work, but today that's what you think. It may be a license and a currency that I needed. Distinguished, and Your Highness, the Emma of Kilshi, and other distinguished personalities here. Distinguished guests and participants, it gives me immense pleasure to see the fulfillment of the proposed Admissions Merit Award today. I would like to first and foremost thank His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for making time out of his tight schedule to grace this occasion with his representation by Mrs. Owais. I also want to appreciate the Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, and the Honorable Minister of State for Education for a purposeful leadership in the education sector. I must also thank the 10th Governing Board, ably headed by Dr. Emmanuel Undukwe, and members of for their able leadership and guidance in ensuring that the proposed deal come to pass. The idea of the awards we are gathered here for today was mooted during the 2017 policy meeting of the board, which take-off date was agreed to be 2018, and it was held in this same auditorium. The 10th Governing Board was prompt in approving the 5 categories of award to be presented today at its 4th meeting held on the 5th of November 2018. The awards could not have been conferred until the admission exercise is concluded, hence what appear as delay. The awards are in 5 categories. They are the most subscribed institution by candidates. 2, the most national in admission of candidates. 3, the highest in number of admitted international students. 4, the most improved over previous years in intake of female students. 5, the best in compliance to the policy guidelines for admission. The criteria for selection, I would suggest that those on the high table, you just change so that you can just turn around. Yes, so that, yes, just shift, yes. The most subscribed, the most national in admission, the highest in number of admitted students, the most improved over previous year in intake of female students, and the best in compliance to the policy guidelines. Yes. In case of the most, category 1, the most subscribed institution by candidates. That is clear. You know the number and it is clear. The criterion for the institution with the highest number of candidates that apply to it, that is the criterion. The most national in admission of candidates. The institution must have admitted from every state of the Federation and FCT. There mustn't be any state where there is no candidate in that institution for that year. 2, that institution must have admitted not less than 1,500 candidates. 3, must have the fairest in distribution of admitted candidates among its catchment states or all states in case of specialized military institutions like NDA, like the Navy, like the Air Force. Must have admitted from each of the states not less than 0.25, i.e., 1 in every 400 candidates. Every 400 candidates you have admitted, 1 must come from each of the states of the Federation. That is not just admitting, but admitting at least 1 over 400 from each of the states of the Federation, i.e., for effective coverage of all the states. Number 3, the highest in number of admitted international students. You must have the highest of international students. That is foreign candidates with non-Nigerian passports. Now, number 4, improved female gender. That is most improved over previous year in intake of female students, with total intake of not less than 1,500. That is not just admitting 40 or 50 or 100. Yes. Category 5, the best in compliance to policy guidelines. That is, the institution must complete its admission within the stipulated time, not later. 2, process its admission and part-time admission on caps. Not just the normal one, the part-time, the regular, the irregular, everything done transparently on caps. Not doing some under the table and be begging JAMB for regularization. C, must have extended timely invitation for matriculation. Not the type that matriculation is tomorrow and rush to Abuja today and say, Registrar, please, I've invited you. Must have made timely submission of his matriculation list. You see, those who do mago admission, they will delay the matriculation list until a day to the matriculation. And they would say, oh, Registrar, you know you wouldn't have time to scrutinize and you don't want to disrupt the matriculation. So those who obey the 2-week notice to give us time to analyze the matriculation must not have been known to have committed any admission infraction. The institution might have committed, but not known to JAMB. That's why not any known infraction must have been committed by the institution. Must comply with the approved science and arts ratio recommended by the Federal Ministry of Education, and must have updated its record on IBAS. IBAS means Integrated Brochure and Syllabus Scheme, where you update what you are doing in your university. If the Senate takes any decision, you don't need to come to Abuja. You just do it online and it will be in JAMB. In order to ensure transparency, we will still show some other things. In order to ensure transparency in the selection process, a sub-management committee of 5 directors was constituted, and the committee came up with the recommendations. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the winners of these awards today will take home, each of them will take home 25 million as winning prize. Each institution is expected to execute a small project with the sum as a symbolic representation of the attainment. As earlier stated by the chairman of the governing board, this is part of the discharge of the board's corporate social responsibility. It is hoped that the awards will inspire all tertiary institutions to work within stipulated guidelines, thereby creating healthy competition among themselves. It is also hoped that it will internationalize the Nigerian tertiary institution, foster national unity through the admissions of national spread, as well as to always cultivate a transparent admission process. I would like to use this medium to congratulate the winners of this maiden edition and urge them not to rest on their oars in doing the right things the right way. I also want to encourage the others who did not win this time to study the guidelines and aspire to be the winner next year. It is my proposal that, having made appropriate budget provision, and if we are able to persuade both the board and the National Assembly, the price will quadruple by next year. We will make each institution execute a major project. That is, we are looking forward to next year when we can give 100 million instead of 25 million. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what is left for me is to unfold the winners. Category 1, the most subscribed institution by candidates. Where is Susan? I think Susan is somewhere. Anybody who contests any of them, the data, you have the data here. You can come as any institution. You have your data. Yes. Anybody who wants to look at the data will come. Yes. It is therefore my duty on behalf to turn back only the representative of the Vice President. Please come. The honorable ministers, please come, so that you make the presentation. Thank you, sir. The ministers, please come to present the award. Please come, sir. Just to assist the president, the vice president. Thank you, sir. Yes, the most subscribed, the chairman, sir. You know, as I have said, we have the data there that you can know where your institution is. Even if you are number 700, you will see your list on where you are. The most subscribed institution by candidates is University of Ilorin, Kwara State. And let me tell you, Ahmadu Bello, University of Ilorin subscribed 86,401. Ahmadu Bello University came second, 74. University of Benin, 70,000. Those are there. And you have, can you roll the other institution so that up to 700, you can have them. Roll it. Just roll the other institution. These are the first 10. Okay, if they are not doing that. So, we have the hard copy there. Just leave it there. Anybody who wants to know the position of his own institution can go there. So, it is my pleasure, therefore, to invite the Pro-Chancellor, the Vice-Chancellor, and the Registrar of the University of Ilorin. This is the certificate, ma. This is the certificate. Look, face camera. We have. You are copying the minister because of that is University of Ilorin. Better by far. Thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Please go to your. The second position. Thank you. The second position, that is the list. You can see. Port Harcourt, number 50, number 62, Akwa Ibom, number 75, Kaduna State Polytechnic, number 84, Covenant University. You can find yourself there, up to the list. Roll it up. So every institution, you have and you can obtain the electronic copy to know what you have to do to become number 1. So, only one, yes. All others that they admitted are illegal. So, anyone that is not done through the proper admission. The second category of award, please stop the camera for now, please. The second category, the most national in admission of candidates, that is, has met all the conditions and is the most national in terms of national spread. Go ahead. The winner is Kaduna Polytechnic, Kaduna. Kaduna Polytechnic admits, we expect their 1/400 is expected to be 14. And they admitted 14 candidates from 34 states of the Federation out of the 38. So Kaduna State, the chairman of the Kaduna Polytechnic, where is he? Kaduna Polytechnic, okay. The chairman of council, this is the Oh yeah, where is the Dr. Lawal? Where is the ticket? Dr. Lawal. Thank you. Kaduna Polytechnic. And just like, please go that way, sir. Just as we said, all where you belong to, you can see Kaduna Polytechnic covering 14. You can see the next one, Ahmadu Bello, covering only 33. Duzima, 33. University of Abuja, that is supposed to be totally national, 32. Jos, the most improved is University of Jos, because last year they covered only 11 states. This year they have moved to 31 states, but they, of course they can't be all, but it's the most improved. Uswanda and Fodio covering 30, Federal University, Minna, 28. And all institutions are ranked, including number 701, that admitted only from 2 states of the federation. So, yes, you can see where you belong. Then move. Only 2 states. One, and the 2 states are adjacent. And when you can see the table. You can see their table. Oh, what's happening? I know your rector is a technologist. He must have done something. You can see. Like that, we have everything for every institution. Please, let's go to the 3rd category. The 3rd category. The 3rd category, control room. The 3rd category is improve female gender. The winner, where is it? Where is it? Oh, international students. International students. The highest number of admitted international students is Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. They have admitted 37 foreigners, and followed by University of Maiduguri, Calabar, Uyo, Ibadan. And you can see in that order, Modibo Adamawa 2, and so on, up to those who have 0. So the Pro-Chancellor and the Vice-Chancellor of Ahmadu, Ma.
Thank you.
Take your check. Take your check. No, we don't want your check. Congratulations. 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 Then the 4th category, you can see all of them with 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Those are who admitted only 1, 1, 1, including University of Ilorin. The most improved over previous year in intake of female students. And some of these things you will see, if you analyze them, you will see that there are some interpretations. When you look at the first 10, the most improved for female now is, go ahead, Rivers State University of Science, Technology, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. It has 5.24. And it rose down to those who went as far as minus. Those who admitted less than they did last year. So you can see all of them, their scores. Don't go to the last one, my friend. So this is the presentation. River State, the Pro-Chancellors, the Vice-Chancellor, retired Chief Judge. Okay, you are welcome. Yes. Yes, the check. Yes. Rivers State University of, yes. Rivers State University, Port Harcourt. You have changed your name now from Science and Technology to simply Rivers State University, and that's what we put there. Thank you, thank you. Please move here. Your seats are here. The 5th and not the best. How can you say that? This man is from that university. The 5th category, the best in compliance to the policy guidelines. All the guidelines were met, as you will see, is University of Maiduguri. You see, they completed the admission in October 2018. The invitation was on the 4th of March. The matriculation was on the 22nd of March. and they process all their part-time on caps. No violation known to us. Science ratio 60-40 met. Update on IBAS, yes. They are followed by Covenant University Ota, which met. You can see where they have no. That is processing of their part-time admission on caps. That's what made them not to be as compliant. Also, instead of 2 weeks, Covenant gave 9 days. You can see between 10th and 19th. This is how we categorize all institutions. So I invite the Pro-Chancellor and the Vice-Chancellor of that University of Maiduguri. Yeah. Take your picture. My director of test administration is a graduate of University of Maiduguri. That's why he said, yes, take your check. Or do I take it away? Madam Vice President, you can take your seats. Members of the high table, please come here. Yes. Now, move them quick. Yes, we are turning back this way. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Yes, because of your handshake with the Vice President and with the Minister, you'll be there and you can stand so that you can stand up. Stand where you are so that you not have the picture of the whole table. Stand, please. Sorry, sir. Okay, please, camera, you can have the... Yes, you can stand. Please stand so that we have the whole picture. These are the winners. Please move in. Move in. Yes. The Vice President, Honorable Ministers, thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
I think we need to appreciate the registrar for a very, very wonderful job. A good job, well done. Please, can we put our hands together for the registrar? Professor Ishak Olayiwaju Oloyede. A job well done. And so, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to invite to respond, immediately after the photographs have been taken. Please, cameraman, we invite the Vice Chancellor of University of Maiduguri, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar Njodi, to respond on behalf of the recipients. Please, can we welcome him? You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. The Vice President, who is ably represented here, the Honorable Minister, the Chairman of JAMB, my brother, the Registrar of JAMB, please permit me to, if standing will break it, let me sit on existing protocol. To begin with, let me make a passionate appeal to just recount one or two things that is making me feel so emotional about this award. I have barely 10 days to complete my tenure as a Vice Chancellor. I see this as a valedictory for me, for the provision of service and in furtherance of the educational sector. I feel so proud that I see myself answering national call as being the advocate as presented and symbolized by the Honorable Minister, Mala Adamu Adamu. He came in. From the first day, his insistence had been good governance, probity, and efficiency in service. This is what secretly guided what I was doing. I was not making noise. I wasn't telling the minister anything I was doing. Unknown to him, he is my role model. I want to thank you very much, Honorable Minister. You are leaving office, and I'm leaving office as completed and fulfilled individual. Let me, on behalf of my fellow recipient, appreciate JAMB for these initiatives. No doubt, this will go a long way in improving service delivery to universities and other institutions of higher learning in this country. A time was where everybody is seen as a cheat, if I may be permitted to use that word. Professor Oloyede has come and given us a new lease of hope that heads of higher institutions are not thieves as it is used to be presented. He has shown to the nation and internationally that governance of institutions of learning should not be seen to be for the rogues. And I must say, Professor Oloyede, I'm so proud of you because you have given us a lease of hope as heads of higher institutions. Let me call on my other colleagues. The position of the prize is only for 5 institutions. Certainly it cannot go for everybody. Just is coming the same way we've been inundated by applications for admissions by candidates. You could see what happened. One of the best is University of Ilorin with over, 80,000. And the quota, as approved by the National Universities Commission and JAMB, is not more than 10,000. It's the highest in the country. So for you to take 10,000 from 84,000, you know it's a Herculean tax. I've always told my colleagues way back in the university, in the case of University of Maiduguri, the last exercise was 42,000, out of which we had to select only 9,500. What I told my colleagues and the operators of our admission exercise is that there is no way we can satisfy everybody. We cannot satisfy everybody. That we have to select only 9 from over 40,000 means there can be no miracles. I told them, I said, look, tell anybody that cannot get the admission that the VC has refused to give you admission. I am ready to take up and take that responsibility. What is there is the opportunities are not just there because the infrastructure, the facilities are not there to accommodate everybody. We hope and pray government will sustain what it's doing now in order to create more opportunities for people who are yearning for institutions. Let me thank the Vice President who has honored, who has come here to share with us in the joy of what we are doing to improve education in the country. We want to thank you, Vice President, for this opportunity. On this note, let me thank each and everybody and wish you journey mercies as you return to your respective destinations. Thank you, and God bless.
He said, Professor Oloyede has given the Nigerian universities a new lease of hope. Your integrity can now speak for itself. One more time, can we appreciate, with a loud round of applause, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar and Jody, the Vice Chancellor, University of Maiduguri. Congratulations one more time. At this juncture, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, SAN, GCON, ably represented by Mrs. Miriam Lawal-Weiss. Please, a round of applause as she comes to deliver her remarks by the Vice President.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, Honorable Minister of State, Chairman of JAMB, the Registrar, distinguished members of the High Table, including Your Highness, and the distinguished audience here. I'd like to convey the sincere apologies of His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo. He was called out suddenly, and he had to go to Imo State. So he asked me to come and step into his very large shoes. It is with great pleasure that I perform this task. His speech is what I will read. I'm here this evening to present merit awards to tertiary institutions that have excelled in different categories of their performance in the admissions exercise. I am happy to be with colleagues in the academia and with those who regulate and administer access to the nation's tertiary institutions. From the experience of the developed world, it has been empirically proven that the future of a nation can be premised on who and what are taught in its higher institutions. The teachers, the students, the curricula, the researchers, the environment, and other key components that operate and are obtained in the nation's tertiary institutions would continue to have great influence on the future of any nation, because in developed climes, the output from their universities, technological institutions, teacher training colleges, and schools of innovation have largely been responsible for their various achievements, whether these are in the field of leadership and governance, technological development, social upliftment, sports development, economy, natural resources, environmental issues, or even warfare. Therefore, as important as who and what operates and are obtained in tertiary institutions are, the access, ways, and manners of recruitment of employees, admissions of students, sustenance of the employees and students, and their exit should also carry the same importance. That is why I believe that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, as the gateway to access to the nation's tertiary institutions, is of strategic importance to the government. Many people have shown interest in ranking of institutions, particularly of universities all over the world. I also have my opinion on ranking, whether it is of universities, of the economy, sports, or any sphere of human endeavor. However interesting, influential, attractive, or rewarding ranking of institutions are, because of the important role of tertiary institutions to the survival of a nation, every institution must attain and maintain a standard that should not be measured in terms of being minimum or maximum, but in terms of being a normal standard that is required of any institution. For example, a hospital should not be ranked in terms of how many avoidable deaths it records. Rather, there should be no avoidable death in a normal standard hospital. In the same vein, Normal standard of requirements in teaching, learning, curriculum, research, living, assessment, and of other basics should be present in every tertiary institution. Having achieved the basics by all, it should therefore only be in terms of peculiarities of rich background, prestige, new accomplishments, latest discoveries, focus on specific fields and improvement of existing developments that should be celebrated, which should then influence ranking. In ensuring that the nation's tertiary institutions maintain and sustain what I call universal standards, JAMB's efforts at ensuring that the tertiary institutions perform excellently in the process of access to the institutions has been very commendable. This would surely engender healthy competition amongst institutions and ultimately open access to only those who deserve to be in those institutions. This would also lead to having students that are well prepared for the challenge of research, discovery, development, invention, and reorientation, which are required to uplift development in our nation and put us on the pedestrian with other nations in the global village. The nation's curriculum should be aggressively refocused on diversifying the nation's economy towards knowledge-based and driven-one development of solid minerals, sports, and tourism, as well as small-scale enterprises. This administration has started to focus on people at the poverty baseline of the economy with the introduction of cash transfers, the market money, the trader money, and other social investment programs. These are all strategies of economic development. The sustenance of these policies and strategies and responses to world market economy resides in the tertiary institutions. With these few observations and opinion, let me therefore join in the commendation of the leadership of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board in its efforts of always being responsive and responsible in the discharge of its mandate. This administration is proud of the achievements of the board, particularly its unique contributions to the Federation account since 2017 and its reinvigorated efforts in frontally confronting examination malpractices and protecting the integrity of its examinations and the results awarded to candidates. I would also like to congratulate the winners of the Merit Awards today, the University of Ilorin, the Kaduna Polytechnic, the Ahmadu Bello University, the Rivers State University, and the University of Maiduguri. I commend the leadership of the Minister of Education, the Minister of State for Education, and the entire education sector, with special mention of the Vice Chancellors, the Rectors, the Provosts of all our tertiary institutions. I also recognize the commendable roles of the regulatory bodies like the National Universities Commission, the National Board for Technical Education, and the National Commission for Colleges of Education, and of course, the untiring efforts of intervention agencies such as TED Fund, the Scholarship Board, and the PTDF. Working together in unison with common purpose is key to our nation's development efforts. Let us continue to partner together positively. I thank you for listening, and have a good evening.
I'm sure we want to make that applause bigger and louder for His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by Mrs. Miriam Lawal Uwais, SSA to the President of the Federal Republic. Your Excellency, distinguished members of the High Table, our esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we want to invite everyone to please follow the leading of the ushers for a meal. I've been struggling in my mind to describe this meal because usually between breakfast and lunch, there's brunch. Between this lunch and dinner now, I'm sure you can find the answer yourselves. But one more time, please, can we put our hands together for the Vice President's representative for a beautiful work done. One more time, we want to congratulate JAMB for this epoch-making event. And so, the ushers would lead the high table, beginning with Her Excellency or His Excellency. Okay, I hear that the vote of thanks should go before this meal, because after then, we can all depart. So, want to invite. Okay, we have some announcements.
Thank you, our Vice President, for this moment. Thank you, members of the High Table. At this moment, we will be having the vote of thanks and then the closing and national anthem. But after the national anthem, please, the announcement is that we have a light refreshment for all of us, and the ushers will lead us to Aloma Mokhtar Hall. Take home, well packaged take home for those that want to eat here and for our Muslim brothers that are fasting. The ushers will lead us immediately after the national anthem. At this point, I will want to invite my very good director, the man in charge of admissions, the director that has been interfacing with all admission officers of all the tertiary institutions here present. By Dr. Mahmouda Adamu Mahmouda for the vote of thanks.
The Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, SAN, GCO, ably represented by Hajia Mariam West. The Honorable Minister of Education, Malam Adamu Adamu, the godfather of JAMB, and the Honorable Minister for State, Professor Anthony Owuka, the former Minister for Education, Professor Tunde Adeniran, distinguished members of the High Table, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making this day a reality and making it possible for us to attend this occasion and also make it a success story. On behalf of the chairman, governing board, registrar, management, and staff of JAMB, I sincerely appreciate you all for making out time to honor our invitation. I especially express our appreciation to His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for honoring our invitation through Hajia West. To grace this occasion, in spite of his tight schedule, sir, we are highly honored by your presence, which will ever remain green in our memory. To the Honorable Minister, our appreciation, we're highly appreciative for their support and encouragement to the board, which has been of immense contribution to the management and governing board to continue to strive hard in our desire and aim of achieving excellence at all times. Our gratitude also goes to sister agencies, the council and management of all tertiary institutions, particularly the vice chancellors, rectors, provosts, for being excellent partners in progress, and also in the drive to move the tertiary education sector to the next level. we wish to congratulate the 5 institutions that performed excellently well in the 2018 admissions exercise and hope this will galvanize other institutions to emulate them in subsequent admissions exercise. We also wish to thank the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Administrator and Management of Nigerian Judiciary Institute for always approving our request for the use of this beautiful edifice, which is a pride to the nation. So please, I also permit me to appreciate our royal father, the Emir of Karshi, who happens to be the chairman of the Nasarawa State Polytechnic. So the Polytechnic was established in 2001. As of last month, their carrying capacity was just 600. With the coming of this Emir on board, he relocated to the Polytechnic. As of last week, we saw MBT has approved 18 programs for them. He is passionate about education. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we thank everyone who has honored our invitation to this program as we pray for safe trip back to our various destinations and home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahmouda, Director, Admission, JAMB. Before the national anthem, please, as you move to the next hall here for your takeaway, remember to go along with your ticket. Your Excellency, may we all stand for the closing national anthem.
And on this note, we have come to the end of the live transmission of the maiden edition of Presentation of National Tertiary Admissions Performance Merit Award 2018, organized by JAMB on the network service of the NTA. And on behalf of our outside broadcast crew, enjoy the rest of the day.